We'll do the pranam mantra. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatadam Bande Sri Gurum Din Tardan Paramanand Madhvam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 नाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय फाउंडर आचार्य जी भाएंगे से प्रभुपाद की जय से मूल भक्त विंद की जय नित्य गौरा प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल Hare Krishna. So we'll start the discussions. I'm sure that others will join. I know we had no class from last 2 weeks. Sorry for that. I have a lot of things happening. Last night I came around 9 o'clock from Harina. So a lot of things piled up, but still I would like to keep this up whenever I get some time. So today we are going to talk very important topic, extremely important topic. I don't know how many of you are exposed to this type of terms. It's called VES, Vedic education system. Also, it's called as Indian Knowledge System (IKS). This thing is very right now very, I would say, hot topic because many professors they are researching in this field and they are saying that how over the time this whole damage has happened to the Vedic education system. So classes that I'm doing in this session are not standard ISKCON classes that happens. Okay, this is a very foundational type of topic that you'll have to not only stop now, but this will give a precursor for you to think in this space and research and try to understand more that how these things are coming and what's the latest upgrade we have in this or latest updates we have in this field. So first topic we spoke about what is as it is, and we saw the commentary by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Chakravarti Thakur, and other acharyas, what they expect as it is to be. And then the second topic that we talked was what is Krishna consciousness, and we saw multiple definitions and letters how Srila Prabhupada wants us to be Krishna conscious. What exactly is the meaning of Krishna consciousness? And then we talked about what are the components of Krishna consciousness. And this topic that I'm going to start, this is a very vast, very big topic. And I have a separate presentation, but I'm going to go through a very concise version of this topic, Vedic education system. And this is not a standard class, as I said. This is a very specific type of discussion. So you'll hear certain stuff that normally you don't hear. So whenever we use this term system, education system, it comprises multiple element system. So system has multiple components such as setup, like you can see that a guru who is very learned, who is knower of the truth, is sharing the knowledge with the students. So setup, and then the person who is sharing the knowledge, and then the content. What is the subject that they are going to discuss, and then circumstances that is existing at that time, place, and circumstances that we say, plus who the students are also, not only who the spiritual master or the person who is talking is, rather who is the person on the receiving end. So all of that components together makes this term system. So we have a system, and the system has multiple components to it. So Vedic education system. Many researchers. So one of my friend, his name was Suryakant Kantimali. He's professor in IIT Guwahati. So he, from the very childhood, was researching, was very devotional, and he was just putting some sort of tilak, not knowing the purpose of that tilak. Then later he came and he did a PhD, and after PhD, he became professor at the Oregon State University, and he left. He left that and he went back to India, and he is researching there on this topic, Indian knowledge system. What is the source of the knowledge, from where the knowledge come, how knowledge come into the existence. So in this discussion, again, this topic, I cannot talk in a very verbal way. I have to have the presentation so that you can grasp better, and also there is higher exchange of knowledge. So first we're going to talk that what is the core problem today in the society, and then what are the multiple features of Vedic educations, and how that Vedic education is turning into so-called today's modern education that we see. You know, big university, big schools are there, and what they are talking about, what they are teaching, how it's helping to the people, and then what should be the real goal of the education, how the education should be perceived, what exactly we should get, what exactly we should get out of the education, and then how education can lead to ultimate goal. These are some of the topics we are going to talk about. We'll start with a beautiful verse that Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Jnanam te aham sabhijnanam idam vakshami asestah yas gyatva neha bhuyos anyas gyatoyam avasishyate. So he says that now I shall declare you the knowledge. By knowing this, nothing shall remain for you to know. This is very surprising. We have gone through this verse multiple times. We have read this verse, but something like that when we hear that by knowing this, there is nothing that shall remain for you to know, then it makes us very curious. What is that knowledge really that is being talked about? And the purport, Prabhupada says that knowledge has two components, phenomenal and numinous. Every knowledge has these two components. He says one is phenomenal and second one is numinous. And then he explains that in Sanskrit or in our common language, these two terms are called Gyan and Vigyan. So Krishna is saying that once you know this Gyan, and you have particularly realized it, you know the big Gyan, then nothing shall remain for you to know. So knowledge has these two components, Gyan and Bigyan. And in today's society, so-called education that we have, we don't see both of these components coming together. A lot of Gyan is there, a lot of theoretical knowledge is being given to people, but they don't have any practical knowledge. Doesn't matter. Even somebody, is in a devotional service. So this discussion is not related only to ISKCON. Rather, you have to broaden your understanding and see what's happening out there in the world. A lot of theoretical knowledge are being imparted to the people, but there is no critical understanding. Especially in today's education, in the today's society, you will see that critical knowledge has been completely vanquished. There is no understanding at all about critical knowledge. Only theoretical knowledge. And people are going through it, and we'll talk about it. So in our movement or in our society, one of the things that devotee normally will ask that what is your realization? You are chanting name of Krishna, you are reading books, you are engaging in deity service, you are serving Krishna. What is your realization? And everybody has some realization. If you don't have any realization, then you would have left long back. But if somebody is continuing Krishna consciousness, that means that person is receiving some realization, some degree of understanding of what we are doing, what this material world is, where I'm heading towards. If that is not there, then 15, 20, 30 years, nobody will stay in Krishna consciousness. They will leave. So although we don't do some sort of practical lab to find out that we are realizing or we have some practical understanding, but there are some critical aspect of Krishna consciousness. And in any other movement, there are so many societies, so many movement right now, and people are there, years after years after years after years. They are there, and they are sticking. They're following the path. They are continuing the path, and they feel that this is very powerful. It's working for them, and they are on the process. So one of the thing that is extremely important, that what what is making them basically continue. Gyan definitely is one aspect. Any if you go to Advaitavadi, they will give you so much theoretical knowledge. This. And everything for them is profound. They think this is final, 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 final. We are the best. If you go to some churches, they have a lot of knowledge, and they think that they are the one who has all the knowledge and they are the best. If you go to some other sampradaya, other society, same thing. Vedanta philosophy, Vedanta school, other everybody, they have a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is not the problem, and they think they are the best. But then that still remains open question that which one is best? The people who are thinking and doing things, saying that they are the best, not because of theoretical knowledge that they have. You have to understand also. Theory for sure is there, but the practical knowledge, the realization they have being into the process for years and years and years and years, that makes them going. That's helping them continue the process. Theoretical aspect of for sure is very theoretical knowledge is definitely a very good aspect, but that is not itself sufficient. Rather, they are getting some practical realization. And the question comes that is that realization is ultimate realization? Right? Krishna here is saying that once you know this knowledge, yes, gyatva means after knowing. You have once you know this knowledge, there is nothing, neha bhuyo, there is nothing on this planet, anyas, etc., others. There is nothing others on this planet that gyatoyam vashishyate. It will remain for you to be known. So this has been given to us by some of our acharya, and they have said that in every process there is some aspect of devotion, some aspect of uh, bhakti, and that bhakti is letting them continue. That bhakti, whatever it is, so bhakti everywhere is in its purest form. A small amount of bhakti in the purest form, but might be a lot of other impurities around it. It's diluted form, but bhakti is there. Example is given that when you take the medicine has very small percentage, 2 or 3% of active chemical component. Other 97 to 98% is filler only, maltodextrin or something. That is a carrier of the active component. So what basically making people get going is the component of devotion that they have. And that component is in a very smallest form, in a very diluted form, very little quantity. Whatever it is, that's real. That's making them realize, and that's making them go. But the purpose is that need to be concentrated. That need to be prominent quantity, not a lot of filler, but there should be a lot of devotion. And the third Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives is Gunyabhuta Bhakti, Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, and Kaivalya Bhakti. So everybody has to come to the stage of pure devotion. And if you come to the stage of pure devotion, then nothing else shall remain for you to know. So Vedic system, Vedic education systems, although it talks about multiple things, but ultimate goal is to bring one to that state where one has pure, unalloyed devotion for Lord. Now, for broader aspect, don't give that name right now. Just the love for a supreme person in prominent quantity. So that is the goal, and for that purpose, these systems are designed. So Vedic education system is supposed to take one to that goal, but also we have to see the damage that has happened. Huge damage has happened to Vedic wisdom. There's a lot of discussion going on. What is the source of knowledge? Where ultimately the knowledge comes from? And many scholars, they come and they study Bhagavatam or other Vedic literature, and they find some direct number. Like for example, if you study Canto 5th of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a lot of discussions about cosmology. Where is Bhumandala? What is the distance of Bhumandala from Bhuvarloka? How sun is situated? How moon is situated? How is Loka mountain? What is the height of Loka mountain? Why there is need of sun and moon? How far sun and moon gives the light, after which there is no need for sun and moon? Do we have sun and moon in the Dhruva planet? Tapoloka, Brahma planet. How all of that, discussions and descriptions and details and numbers are given. So many a scholar, they study, Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 5th, and they get the numbers. And based on that number, they do mathematical, modeling and all of that they are doing. But they approach Bhagavatam not for the purpose of devotion. Rather, they are approaching Bhagavatam to get the knowledge. Not only Canto 5th, but throughout, Bhagavatam or other Vedic literature. So the question comes that what is the source of knowledge? Even scientists are following disciplic succession. So, for example, a person who is researching, their research is based on certain assumption, and that assumption is proven by the person who researched the topic before. So, although they officially don't accept disciplic succession, but in the scientist community also there is disciplic succession. Although they don't accept it, but they are getting the information from the senior and they are making some assumption, and based on that assumption they are giving a next degree of information, next set of information. So scientific community is also having disciplic succession, and in the spiritual community, not everybody not everybody has disciplic succession like we have. So Prabhupada emphasized on that aspect very strongly. In Bhagavad Gita, he gives the list of acharyas. And then he says, we are Brahma, the Gaura Sampradaya is coming from Krishna to Lord Brahma to uh, Narada, Narada to Vyasdev, Vyasdev to Brahma Muni, like that. You know. So some of the spiritual sampradaya, they accept disciplic succession and some do not. It's not like that all the spiritual organizations have the disciplic succession, but they are learning from their seniors. So across the board, doesn't matter where we are, these disciplic successions are being followed. These disciplic successions are being followed. Either you are in the scientific community or you are in the spiritual community. We proudly say that we just repeat what our acharyas have said. We have a strong disciplic succession. But in reality, everybody, doesn't matter where they are following disciplic succession in a formal way, in informal way, or not formal way. Whatever way it is, they are following the disciplic succession. Now, how much we agree with that? But it's being found that doesn't matter where they all are following disciplic succession. And very simple example is look into your family. Your son and daughter, they are getting most of the behavior that you think is of the value. Disciplic succession. You know, our parents are sending their kids to Sunday feast, sending them to the uh, Sunday school, sending them to the retreat and other sadhu sangha and other places where they can get a spiritual knowledge. Disciplic succession. So if maybe they're not accepting, they say that by default, mother and father are Vedic teaching is that mother and father by default are your spiritual, instructor in the very beginning, Siksha Guru. But that is being followed. So anywhere you go, either we accept and not accept, disciplic succession is being followed. So that's number one point. That's number one point that we have to know. Number two, what is the source of knowledge? From where the knowledge has come? And if you study second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, some part of third canto, how creation has happened, Lord Brahma is giving all the details. And if you really look at everything has come from Lord Himself. But this part, this appreciation or this information is not as it is received by other people. But if you just close your eyes and look at any information that is out there, what is the source? Scientific community will say that, oh, Einstein did it, Newton did it, he found the gravitation. But if you go back, ultimately you'll find that it has come from one of the rishi, one of the prominent spiritual person. And that knowledge ultimately has come from Lord Himself. Chatusloki verse. Lord Vishnu is saying four sloks, four verses to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma gave that to Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave that to Vyasdev. Vyasdev gave 18,000 verses, gave 18,000 verses. Like that. Somewhere we appreciate it, accept it, somewhere we don't. But ultimately, think about it. This is the homework for you to think. The source of all the knowledge, all the information is Lord Himself. This raga, sarega, padanisa that we select, canto, second canto says, I, all the letters that we have, from where all the dances that we have, these four Vedas that we talk about. This Veda has a specific emphasis on how to do deity worship, the musical presentations, artistic presentation, the art, the dance, the Bharatanatyam. What is the source? But that is not known to many people. So this IKS team or the researcher who are researching the Vedic knowledge system, they're saying, hold on, you guys are on the surface or you are too far off. You are too far off. You are taking something and working on it and thinking and saying that it has nothing to do with Lord. That is a big problem. Okay. So they're saying that go back, go back, go back, go back. And if you go back, you'll find out that Lord Krishna, Vishnu, is the source of all the knowledge. And once you do that, then it's transformation of the consciousness, being from atheist to getting into theist side. This is broader topic, not just one verse of Bhagavatam that I'm talking about. So that is what the researcher and scientists are doing. The spiritual scientists and researchers are doing. They're saying that hold on, there are so many books written. If you research, there are some of the professor in IIT management, Bangalore. I know one of the professor from South. He is very much embedded into this thing. And he is writing papers after papers after papers after papers on Ramayana, on Mahabharata. And he says that all of this knowledge that you guys are talking about is already there. And Krishna does say in Bhagavad Gita, in fourth chapter, I think 9 or 10 verses, says that doesn't matter, O Partha, wherever living entities are, they are following my path. They are following my path. And I award them accordingly. Wherever they are, however they are, I award them. So our goal is not to take one of the spiritual subject and just stay in that space. And 10, 20, 30 people are coming and we're talking to them only. And they think that we are trying to create a separate type of institute, separate segmented type of concept that has nothing to do with the whole world. And you and I are Swajatiye, We are believing in the same thing. I hear you, you hear me. It's way higher than that. Way, way higher than that. So that's the thing we have to do. Why I'm doing this discussion, why I brought this discussion, that not staying into our bubble. This is the responsibility of the ISKCON devotee also. That we don't, just stay in a small realm, a small domain, and thinking that this is the best and this is all we have. Rather go out and connect the dots and see how does it really go back and how it goes back. Well, everything, the cooking skill, the deity worship skill, the singing skill, the dancing skill, the artistic skill, the scientific skill. The number was given by Ramanujacharya. And where Ramanujacharya went to school? Gurukul. So this understanding of Vedic education system is helping the mankind as a whole, not only the follower of ISKCON, mankind as a whole. That, hey, hold on. This whole knowledge has come from Lord Himself. So it doesn't matter you believe in Hebrews or are you Jews or Christian or Parsi or Jain Dharma or Bodh Dharma or Hindu Dharma or whatever connects. Hold on. So Vedic education system is not something that is between only few of us, right? Rather, this scientific research community, they are finding that no, this is a global, this is universal. And then what they are doing, trying to prove, take the take the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, some part of third canto, and other Vedic literature, Atharva Veda, Riga, Ajura, all of the Samveda. Samveda, what Samveda taught? Music. Ajura Veda talks about deity worship. So they are going back and researching and pulling that information from Veda. All of this medicinal thing, where it came from. Ayurveda is one aspect of it. Nothing allopathic or homeopathic, nothing has come from some XYZ scientist or researcher. Ultimate source of everything is Veda, given by Lord and his associates. So, although people are not accepting it, but one has to know wherever you are, however you are, your knowledge has come from Veda. But over the time, there have been a lot of damage to it. So this graph, I'm just trying to explain that how much damage has happened. Right now, very easily you go and you see, they say that the most materialistic people you find in the world is the people who are in India. They say that. But but they have been taught like that. Their actual tradition have been damaged by emperor of the Mughal or British government, or even Samrat Ashok and all those people before that. So many invader came to India, and their main goal, and you will see that. I'll come to that discussion, was to damage the education system that India had, or the Vedic tradition had. Forget about India. I don't want to be so sectarian. The Vedic tradition that had, their main goal was to damage it. And damage. So much damage happened. Much damage happened that what we have right now is disconnecting us from the original source. Right? So spirituality does not mean that we are very much focused on certain aspect, rather broadening it and going out of our zone and seeing how this whole thing connects with the bigger picture. And multiple example. This will be my last slide just to give you the the concept or background that this man, if you Google it, you will find his name is Lord T.V. Macklow, and there is a lot of other stuff about him. When this is just the latest example I wanted to give you. When British government wanted to invade in India, I have seen gurukuls. When I was growing up, I still remember seeing the gurukul. I'm talking about 80s. I would go to the places and I'll see gurukul. Now there is no gurukul at all in India. Gurukul completely washed away, vanquished, gone. So this man, he was sent to study Indian tradition. British wanted to very quickly get into India and rule over India. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote a beautiful article. He said, devotees, acharyas, they always see hand of Krishna. And so he said, a little bit diverted, then I'll come to the point. He said that it was nice that British came to India. He said it helped preserve the Vedic tradition. And then he gives the explanation why. Because when these British people came, they were very much focused on making money. They came for economic benefit. They wanted to take and steal Indian resources, and they did not care much about religious values that you hold. You are Jain, they will leave you as Jain. You are Bodh, they will leave you as Bodh. You are Hindu, they will leave you as Hindu. They didn't do too much conversion. But when Mughal came, they wanted to get the economic benefit, and at the same time, they were forcing people to become Islam. So Acharya felt that Mughal time was much, much worse than British time. But British government wanted to get economic benefit from the country. So they did some damage that was for their benefit. So this man, he presented a report in the British Parliament, and he said that India has a very high education rate. Please, these things are not simple that you can just go through it and wipe it out. At that time, 1835, he said India has a very, very high education rate. Up to 100% people are educated, fully educated people. When British government left, only 40 to 55% of the population were educated. But when they came, I'm just giving you one example, the damage. I'll connect you. Don't lose the patience. This is a very broader topic. It will open a lot of avenues for you to think. When they came, India had 100% education rate. And people think that British add a lot of value to the Indian community, but they did damage. They damaged education. They brought the education literacy rate down 45 to 50%. But when they came, India had 100% education. Vedic system, everybody was following the Vedic system, high education rate. 7.32 millions villages and Gurukul. So each 4 or 5 villages had one Gurukul. It's 1835, not too many years old. Not too old. Still India had a Gurukul. And what the Gurukul was doing? Vedic teaching. So with Vedic teaching, the literacy was very, very high. How much literacy we have today, you can go and Google it. Okay. All the people, all the students at 5 years of age, they will get enrolled into Gurukula, and up to 22 years, they will study. And they will study Vedic teaching, because it has everything. It has all the subject. And see what subject had? Vedic mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, astrophysics, chemistry, medicine, and surgery, everything. So called today, people are saying, we have made so much advancement, so much advancement, so much advancement. Shastra says that in age of Kali, people will have information very easily accessible, but the percentage of understanding will go down. People will very easily put the things in the AI and get 10 pages of report, but they would not even carry 1% of that information. But in that age, under Gurukul system, people retain the knowledge. So going to Vedic system, scientists and researchers are saying, is not that we are going to the Stone Age. We'll talk about it. Don't come to the conclusion very quickly. So all of these subjects were part of the curriculum. And he said India is very rich in their education system. There are so many universities, such as Nalanda, Taxila, and Amaravati. You know Nalanda University? When they put that university on the fire, 6 months, 1 year, they kept on burning. All the Chinese philosophers, they will go. All the philosophers from all over the globe, they will go Nalanda. They will go to Indian university. So it is university system. Right now that you see people, Indian people going outside for education, people from other places were coming India for that for the education. And Nalanda, Takshila, and Amravati were the centers of educations where they will study all the subject, mathematics, astronomy, everything. Everything was there. So saying that Vedic education system was poor is not factual. In fact, today also, and that is what we have to talk. That is what we have to connect to the community. Even today, what you are talking is coming that from that day. It's coming from the Vedic sources. So he said that if if we want to win, conquer over Indian Vedic civilization, first thing we have to do is that break their education system. I'm just giving you one example. India was invaded, Vedic culture, Vedic system was invaded by so many other people. We'll talk about it. He said, if we want to rule on this Vedic civilization, the first thing we have to do is that break their education system. So what they did, they said Sanskrit is language of tribes because they cannot learn Sanskrit. Say this is a tribal language. This language has no meaning. This is very, you know, tribe type of language. So everything that was written into the Sanskrit, they changed into the English. They said that change into the English, and they changed in a way that they wanted to do. There are multiple versions of it. If you are into that type of research and mindset, you will find out that how much like Veda completely were translated in English and given a very downgrade version of it. This whole caste community, Sudra Gawar, Dhol Gawar, Sudra Pasunari, ये सब सकल ताड़ना के अधिकारी, Tulsidas thought something else, they said something else. They went after everything, every Vedic value that we had and damaged it. The local language, all the local language, they say this is a tribe language. You know what? Because they wanted only one language in the country, English language, so that they can communicate to the people. They can rule over the people. They can say, sit, stand up, go, do this. You understand? And that became the culture. Okay. So instead of criticizing the people, our responsibility is to teach and tell them that, hey, this is how you started. And slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly, that much damage has happened. And whatever you have been given is a very damaged, very diluted form of what exactly you are believing in. Okay, so this Vedic education system is helping us or the entire bigger community to go back to original root where we came from. And again, this is not sectarian. I'm not talking about only Indian community. If you are studying and researching, you will find out that Bharatvarsha Bhagavatam says that entire Bharatvarsha, this globe was Bharatvarsha. So go back to that Bharatvarsha. Don't keep focus yourself. India means Bharat. This is not India, is not Bharat. Bharat is not India. These are two different terms. But British government, for their benefit, they say that this is, this like this area. Let's call them like this. Let's call them like Indian. So Vedic education system is much, much broader and much, much bigger, and is taking us back. Okay. And what is the underlying concept? What is the underlying understanding? That hey, you and I are not separate because you have taken birth in this country or you've taken birth in their country. But see what you are following, what you follow, what you do, maybe in a very diluted form, far off. It might appear that it's not connecting. Prabhu, Mataji's, sometimes I go to other part of the world also and I talk to them, and you see the words, the names. Most of the Thai people, their names are Sanskrit names. And if you ask them what is the meaning of that one, they'll say beautiful Durga Devi. That's the name of that. That's the meaning of that name. But the word will sound too foreign, like that. So ultimately, this Vedic education system is helping the whole, globe to come together under one umbrella, the source of knowledge. But that will take time. Big universities that are operating here, big schools that are running here, they are not going to right away say that, okay, so I accept that everything has come uh, from you, from Veda. And very simple example is yoga. Prabhu, yoga, Mataji's yoga has multiple version. There is Christian version of yoga, there is Jewish version of yoga, there is Buddha version of yoga. But yoga is yoga. Krishna has spoken, you know, that there are different forms of yoga. So there are many things that you have to think about and broaden your understanding, see the bigger picture, rather just being very focused on a small thing and thinking that this is all. Because if we don't do that, then we cannot connect to the local people. You know, American will think that this is Indian culture. When they come to the temple and they see all of the Indians, they think that ISKCON means Indians. But this knowledge system that we are talking about, this Vedic education system that we are talking about, that will make them realize that no, 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 no. You have not gone that far. You are very far away. And from that perspective, you are seeing things like that. But if you connect the dot, you'll find out that your source and my source, what you follow and what I follow, is coming from the same source. And that source is Lord Himself. Okay. So that is the purpose of this discussion. This is not something that is just on the top for us only, for few of us only. Rather, it goes long back. And we have, as an educated person or as a person who are responsible to take this movement to the next step, give that teaching. And other communities are doing that same thing. And on that basis, we unite. If somebody maybe not the follower of ISKCON, but they promote Vedic education system, we partner with them. So yes, yes. So that's how we have to connect the dots and make a bigger community and make this whole globe realize that the source of knowledge is Lord Himself. So that is the purpose of Vedic education system. I would like to give a pause and hear from you before I keep on talking. There are a lot of information, a lot of things. This is not a simple topic, as I said. I have a very big presentation that I can give on this topic. But for this discussion, I'll just keep it very concise to the point so that you can get the gist of it. But I would like to keep it open now and see if you have any input, any feedback, what you understood so far that I have been talking. Let's give a pause here. Can I hear from somebody? I need more people on this call. These are not standard uh, ISKCON classes. This will help you understand, broaden your understanding and understand the mood and mission of our acharyas also. Why Prabhupada is 70 years of age. came to North America. He was well settled, everything, living in Vrindavan. All you want is that live your life like that. But he took the risk. So we have to understand the bigger picture of what was his mood. He did some while he was on this planet in the very advanced age, but there are a lot of things that he wrote in his letters that is still we have to keep on doing. So being the follower of our Brahma the Gaura Sampradaya means you take that mission and go and present Krishna consciousness in a very profound way, in a very broader way, rather than very smaller way. That this is the thing only we believe. I don't know what you believe in. No, what you believe, what I believe, coming from the same source. Anything anybody has to share? Or did I put you all on sleep?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
Thank you for nice class, Prabhu. So, you always think about the Vedic system, like this is very profound and it's all inclusive of everything, basically. It's a complete knowledge, like from music, dance, Ayurveda, and surgery, aircrafts, everything was there. Everything was there before. Like I used to, like before coming to ISKCON Krishna consciousness, I used to research on that a lot actually myself. So once I saw on Facebook a picture, so that's how my everything started. Like, oh my God, like let me go and research my culture where I came from. So then I learned about aircrafts, like flying vehicles, Vimana Shastra, and the temple architecture. So that's how I learned, and so many things I researched, and I eventually I saw Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita, Veda base. Then I got connected. Later I moved to St. Louis, and many things happened. But the point is, yeah, I think we like India and Vedic knowledge is, I mean, the Vedic knowledge itself is so vast and so complete, and many people who come from that culture also don't truly understand like what it is, what it is actually. It's very unfortunate. Like and there are two parts, right? So one is like karma kanda and gnana kanda of Vedas, and many people just stuck in the karma kanda section only, not truly understand what is the entire knowledge is about. And many things to be learned from our Veda culture only. I agree that Prabhu, like because of many innovations, like Muslim rulers or British, like people lost track of what we truly are from our own
Yep.
culture. So
Very good.
it's our own responsibility now. All the preachers or upcoming preachers that we give that to our own culture or tradition, India, back what we have learned from. Now
Yeah.
that we know many things you called Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So this topic, very good, very good. Yes. So instead of now we teaching as a sectarian organization, hey, I am from ISKCON, and we believe that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead, and we eat only food those are offered to Krishna. You have to give that scientific touch to it. That hey, see, the knowledge has come from the same person. What the knowledge that you believe, the knowledge that I believe, is coming from the same source. Okay, but that knowledge again has a different categories. Like for example, if somebody has to get the high school degree, do they start in the high school or do they start first grade? First grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. Gopal recently passed fifth grade. Prabhu posted the picture. Congratulations. Sixth grade, seventh grade, like that. Then they go to high school. So when you understand the knowledge, the bigger realm, the bigger domain, you understand where you fall into that ladder. Krishna does talk about the yoga ladder, you know, but that is different topic. So the knowledge have their segmentations. They fall into particular segment for particular purpose. But that doesn't mean that you be limited to that segment only. Broaden your horizon, both up and down, left and right, and then understand, and then go up, go up, go up. That's the purpose. First grader doesn't stay in the first grade the whole life. Otherwise, they'll say that you are a failure. You are not really going. That person has to move. Second grade, third grade. This is common example. And then ultimately they have to go master PhD. Yeah, you are very educated, very learned. But PhD and first grade, these are two different subjects. A person who are in the knowledge can understand that PhD is now very advanced. You understand what he's talking about. The first grade is the learner. So Krishna's knowledge, all the knowledge cannot fall into the one segment. So we as a devotee also don't hate somebody who is Mayavadi or somebody who is Advaitavadi or somebody who is following some other school. That's not the truth. We should not do that. I never said that. I never did that. Whenever I listen to my classes, I never said that we should hate Mayavadi. No, understand the purpose of it. Krishna is talking in 70th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, division of the faith. He tells very clearly what are the divisions of the faith. So like that, understand that segmentations, but at the same time also understand the purpose of it. Prabhupada was interviewed by so many people. And when he will talk to Padri, the Padri will listen to Prabhupada very carefully because he knew more about God. He knew more about the person who is following a certain tradition because he had a lot of respect for Jesus Christ. He said, he's Krishna's messenger. I don't think that even people who are Christian has that much faith as Prabhupada understood. Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood everybody, everything. Read some of the writing of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Very advanced person. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is extremely advanced person. See how he comments on certain things. Broaden. We don't want to be seen as a very narrow-minded person, rather broad. Understand the perspectives of everything. So what you said is correct, Prabhu. Anybody else has anything else to share?
Woody, I have a question. Maybe I want to understand your perspective on that between the modern science that we do and the Vedic system, Vedic science. So, the modern science, we always believe it's mutable. So, whatever the findings has been, the next researcher would come in, and if there are some things, some shortcomings in those findings, we will fix it, and then new theories and new you know axioms or hypotheses are made based on our experiments. But do you think the Vedic system or the Vedic science is absolute, is immutable, or the Vedic science is also mutable? There is a scope of, you know, discussions and arguments and then correcting things. Are there any evidences of this in the Vedic science?
Very good, very good, very good ask. And I think the answer of this ask, we might have to go through a step by a step, but
Yeah.
but yes, Vedic knowledge is absolute.
Okay.
You know, Krishna is the supreme personality of God. Although you realize or not realize, that different thing. Although you
Mm-hmm.
come to that understanding or not, that is different thing. Okay. So if you are not taking Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead, for you, it's
Mm-hmm.
changeable. It's something that you can modify. My supreme personality
Mm-hmm.
of Godhead is somebody else. Okay. That you can do. But but at the end, Vedic knowledge gives the absolute reality, absolute truth. Prabhupada very quickly jumped to the conclusion and said that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Mm-hmm.
Our acharyas have said that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That term is still not perceived by us. Although we seems to be repeating it, but
Right.
doesn't seems to have that understanding. I can tell you, we are not this body.
Mm-hmm.
Is it absolute or is it something that will change?
No,
Well,
it's absolutely.
it's absolute, absolute.
Yes.
But are we understanding that? No. So
Mm-hmm.
for us, maybe it's some a subject of change. Maybe
So,
something else we are. We are something else, not the body. Something, something, something. So that is our understanding. But Vedic conclusions are absolute. We are not this body, we are the soul. That's all done. Now it will take time for us to come to that stage. It will be much, much longer before we realize that we are not this body. And we, I can tell you, we, although know that not this body, but act as a body.
mm-hmm.
Most of the time we act as a body. We are acting as a body. We still have the favor and liking based upon the body. That means we ourselves are not following that absolute teaching, although it's absolute. Are you understanding it?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, yes,
So
yes. No,
it's
that's a
like
very
that.
good answer. It
It's
helps
like
me.
it's like
Yeah.
that. It's like that. We are not there. We are not understanding the
Mm-hmm.
fact. But
Mm-hmm.
and this evolution is not the evolution of the knowledge, by the way. It's evolution of our understanding.
Mm,
It's not
true.
that it's not that we have created some new knowledge, and that's one of the promise of the Vedic education system. They're going back and saying that knowledge, the source of knowledge is Krishna himself, the Lord himself. We don't have, we did
Mm,
not create anything.
right.
Yes, we knew it. We knew at 15 years of our age, or 14 years of our 40 years of our age, or 60 years of our age. That has nothing to do with the knowledge. Knowledge, and that's why this slide is saying that all of that knowledge, when Maclay was presenting his report, he said India has all of this. And what he's saying,
Mm,
it has mathematics, it has astronomy, it has metallurgy, everything. So now maybe we are not there.
yes.
People are not there, not accepting it, but the knowledge is there. This artificial intelligence is nothing new. The Vedic age was much advanced. Can you believe that there is a Biman that is flying and it doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
any instruments? Nothing like right now European is flying. You will see
Mm-hmm.
you know 5 engine, 10 engine, big fan, this and that, controls and all of that. But Lord Ramchandra came from Lanka on a Biman, and
Mm-hmm.
where is they have so Aswathama Aswathama had 7 times released the Brahmastra.
Mm-hmm.
He will just said, oh, just Tantra, Mantra Sakti. And then the Brahmastra will appear, and then he will throw. He is not carrying it all the time. Lord
Mm-hmm.
Ramchandra doesn't carry all of the instrument with him. So saying that science was not advanced at that time, it's big mistake that mankind is making. Some
Mm,
aspect of science was prominent at that time. Some aspect of knowledge was prominent at that time. Time, place, and circumstances. Yes, when Vidura and Maitreya is talking, some of the teachings are very profound, but we take it very simple. When Vidura and Maitreya is talking, uh,
mm-hmm.
Maitreya Muni is saying that a pure devotee has full wisdom, full right to adjust the teaching based upon time, place, and circumstances. When Prabhupada came, he talked about typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about car. But you in this age are going to talk about laptop. You're going to talk about iPhone. You're going to talk about
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there might be some differences in the way you express, but the knowledge is same, right? You at that
Yeah.
time, he used typewriter and cards to tell Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead. At this time, you are going to use laptop and iPhone and artificial intelligence to prove that Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the goal is absolute, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
that's how time, place, and circumstances, some modification has to happen. But that doesn't change the actual subject. So Veda has already told Ishvara
mm,
Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Adi Adi Govinda Sarvakaran Karnam. Done. That's absolute. Param Ishwar is Bhagavan Sri Krishna is cause of all the causes. Now that might be realized now or might be realized after multiple time. Bahunam Janma Namante Gyanoanam Parpadante. Okay, keep on, going through the cycle of evolution. Bahunam Janma Namante. Maybe at the, you know, millions of birth, you will come to realize that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So
yeah.
it's like that.
Right, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's a very profound and wonderful answer. Thank you. It
Hare
helps me.
Krishna. Anything anybody has? It's 9:38, 8:38. So in
But
5 minutes I have to adjourn. Yeah.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much for the enlightening class, Prabhu. I mean, at least we have read in some history books saying that such and such people have have destroyed some temples and all other things, right?
Oh,
Yeah, it's in different parts of the world or maybe in different countries. But I mean, we always see the external parts, the damage that was done, but the behind, I mean, the which we cannot see like this way. So destroying some of these education system, or at least changing, altering those systems at that time, those no one will realize, or at least it's not directly available. Yes, yes, people cannot realize easily, right? So that's, yeah, in that way it's very, very informative and very yeah. So it's a very nice class, Prabhuji. And then, so my question, my follow-up question is like, what are your thoughts in terms of bringing that back? Like maybe, yeah, we can use the current technology, let's say all AI and other things. At least what are the steps that we can take in terms of getting that knowledge back, or keeping, bringing that knowledge available for everybody? Like, so any of thoughts, Prabhu, around that?
yeah. So there is a term called value system. Values. What are your values? Okay. So you cannot make the transformation on your mental platform. The transformation will come from your value system. This is very important, again, separate topic. So if I think that I can transform, with my wisdom, with my knowledge, with my intelligence, it is not going to happen.
Mhm.
Okay. So one of the assumption with the base with Vedic system is that you rely on your higher authority.
Mhm.
So I'm not the doer. Prabhupada is doer. I'm not the doer. Krishna Balram is doer. Okay. So so first you have to transform your value system. You cannot make this transformation if your value system is not aligned with the subject that you want to transform to. Did you follow me?
Yes.
So if you are not a pure devotee, you cannot make pure devotee. That's
Yes.
the thing I'm trying to say. Okay. And that was, I know you'll hear that. The Vedic teaching has 5 pillars. Okay. And one of the pillar is that the person who is teaching, person who is giving the knowledge, believes in that knowledge. Okay. What's happening is that so many scientific research paper are being published right now. The scientists who publish that paper, they just publish for sake of publishing.
Mhm.
20 publications I'm doing so that I would be giving the grant and this, but they themselves might not be believing in that knowledge. Okay. So Vedic transformation happens when you are aligned with the value system. Then Krishna will empower you. The empowerment, I'm not the doer. If I think that I'm doing all of this, then I'm completely wrong. Prabhupada is doing everything. I'm his servant. I'm aligned with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, you know, you are the doer. I'm supporting you. So Vedic system is based on that foundation, which means first your transformation. Your transformation has to happen. You cannot transform the world unless until you don't transform yourself. So our understanding, our discussions, our teachings for that purpose is pretty good. When we talk about, Bhagavatam class, take one of the Bhagavatam verse, that is transforming our value system, aligning with the value system that is Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm not this body. That transformation has to happen. But with that transformation, the outcome is that you go back and connect the bigger dots because your now value system has changed. And who is the perfect example? His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
One person, millions and millions of people all over the globe, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. All of us, our Guru is Srila Prabhupada. Our Shiksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada. In disciple course, we teach preeminent Shiksha Guru Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada was able to make that transformation because he himself had transformed. So this thing goes back to us now, that unless and until we don't transform, we don't believe in the value system that is that is given to us by Lord Krishna, we will not be empowered to make the transformation. But if you change your value system, if you align with the value system, if you believe in, then Krishna will empower you to make that changes. When you say something, when you express something, will have the value because it's coming from your value system. So this is very good. Good that you are asking. And the answer is that we have to first transform ourselves. First, we have to buy into. You cannot sell. You cannot be a good salesman, if you don't know which product you are selling, right?
Yes.
So it's like that. Artificially, we can say, oh, this is the comb, this take care of your hair, but we don't have even hair. We don't have any experience that how this comb work. So
Mm.
Vedic system says that first you have to have the inner transformation. First yourself, first you have to buy that Veda is the source of everything. And if you don't buy into it, then go and study. Canto 5th, Canto 2nd, Canto 3rd, Canto 4. See how much knowledge is given there. And then you can go and say that, hey, now we are talking about astronomy, but everything is given in 5th Canto. Like that. And
Thank you,
perfect
Prabhu.
point. You made a perfect point. Today's, if you go to see some of the temples that we have in North South India, some of the old temple, today's people, they are shocked how this type of a structure can be done. There is a pillar not standing on the ground and holding the entire building. It's like it's so much, confusing and difficult for them to understand. Why? Was it not advanced at that time? It was very advanced. So first we have to understand that Veda has everything. Krishna will give me everything. I have a confidence that by serving you, श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास के अधीर निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कैले सरोकार सिद्धि आया. By serving you, I'll get all other objectives or goals that I have in my life. First, we have to be convinced. And with that conviction, we will act as an instrument and then we share the bigger set of information to other people. But thank you. Good questions. So with that, I think we should pause, ask more people to come and hear these things. It's very important for them to know. That's the reason, out of my busy schedule, I'm trying to do this so that, you can understand some of this bigger concept that we have to know. Thank you so much. Vanchkalpatarubhyasya kripa
Kripa
sindhubhya
sindhu
vasha
bhavacha,
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavibhyo namo
vaishnavebhyo
namaha.
namo namaha.
Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai. See you
Jai.
next Sunday. Dandavat pranams to everybody.